I'm a mom, and I have two boys who play football. One is 14 and in middle school, and one is in high school looking to play in college. In the news, I see the reports about kids who play and die on the field, and the concussions, as well as what happens to some of the NFL players who continually, over the years, get hits. My question is, should I worry about my sons playing football?
Yeah. Bakari and I have very strong feelings about this, although ambivalent, which is, yes, you should worry, but no, you should not prevent him from playing football. I personally played football. My sons played football. It's so transformative for a young man to put himself on a team like this, and that where he's in harm's way all the time, and he's putting himself aside and allowing the team to be the priority. That's transformative, but there are real risks. You can manage those risks. Make sure the helmet fits right. Make sure you understand concussion protocols. And what a concussion is, when the brain rattles in the skull and there's any change in sensorium, that kid is out of the game and out for a week at least. And if he has 3 of those, he's out for good. My son had 3 concussions. We took him out. I had to resuscitate a kid who had an intracranial bleed on the sidelines. But for the grace of God, that kid was in chemistry class 3 months later. But horrible things can happen. But I would not have eliminated football from my life or my kids' lives for anything.
Mom, I think you should worry. I think that this is a real concern. I covered the concussion lawsuits for CNN. I've interviewed many of the men that are suffering from debilitating health issues.
Your husband's an orthopedist.
Because of it. My husband is an orthopedic surgeon. He's a sports doctor.
The kids can play.
But I will tell you, in my home personally, I have a 13-year-old boy. He loves football. There's my boy. There's Gabriel. He was just awarded the Offensive Player of the Year award. When he asked me to sign the waiver sheet, I didn't sign it. My orthopedic surgeon husband did. So I think
you didn't sign?
No.
For your boy to play?
No, because I think that it is dangerous. I think that when you know better, you should do better. I don't understand this guy thing with the football. And I don't understand.
Bakari, back me up.
Why,
I got you. So,
I don't understand why it is such a phenomenon. But I can tell you that my son tells me that it has transformed his life.
It's a transformative experience. It's a character-building experience.
Yep.
And I don't think there's any greater team sport in the world than football. A lot of times, this is such a layered discussion because a lot of times kids have to play football to make it somewhere else. I mean, it's the pathway to scholarships. It's the pathway out of somewhere they don't want to be, taking their whole entire family.
Right.
But I get it. I mean, I get that concern. All I have now is
it's a valid concern.
It's a valid concern.
It's
I have a
real.
10-year-old stepdaughter, and I really, really want a little boy. I think everybody always wants a little boy, and I don't know.
I got 3 of them, and you can have 2 of them. Man, you have both. Yeah. You got 3 of them.
It's a valid concern, and me and my wife talk about it all the time. And she says he absolutely won't play football.
I believe if the stats are right, there are actually more injuries from cheerleading, and so we don't ever talk about that.
But the bottom line is, we know now that we have these young men and older men whose brains are mush. And I can tell you,
that's playing for college and NFL.
Well, my son is going into high school, and this is going to be a big fight in the Hostin household.
Our kids have to be so precious.
Play.
They have to be so precious.
Yes.
They have to be raised like beetle.
I don't want him to play.
We can't allow them to be out in the world and to play sports.
You don't want him to play.
I don't want him to play.
How do you tell your son, who is already Offensive Player of the Year, you're not doing this anymore because mommy's worried? You do have a valid point in being worried.
Yeah.
But guess what? We worry now when we send our kid to the movie. We worry when we drop them off at college now. Yeah. I worry when my daughter gets in the car to go on a date. I'm sitting up all night long in my office looking out that window until that curfew comes. But let me tell you something. Football ain't gonna go nowhere.
I know.
It's way too much money to these universities. Super Bowl, the highest watched sporting event in this country, is not going
There also
anywhere.
are correct ways to play the game. And so there are ways to eliminate that worry if
and
done
reduce the
correctly.
risk, yeah.
And I actually represent some players in the concussion suit now in my legal practice. I mean, it's
terrible
tough.
to
It
see.
really is. But we have learned about repetitive trauma, repetitive concussions. We have installed a concussion protocol. They're even teaching little kids how to tackle appropriately now, and you don't lead with your head. They're taking people out of the games. So these things are happening, and it's just a hell of a team sport to play.
Yeah, you know, it is, but
I
at
don't
the end
get
of the
it.
day, it's a tough game.
I mean,
But it is, and I appreciate you worrying, Sonny, and I'm not going to
I
jump
am
on your body because that's your
worried.
baby, and you a mother, and that's it. But you know, if my boy can get out of this house and make $8 million a year, I will duct tape his helmet on. He won't even be able to get it off. Because you going to get out there and get my damn money back. It's what you going to do. Now get out there and get your ass knocked out if you want to. Hey, folks, welcome. Thanks for checking out my YouTube channel. Don't forget to click here to subscribe to my channel. That way you won't miss a single hot new video, some really good stuff. And then I want you to click here to see more clips from the show right now.